Go for 11. God, that's horrible. What I'm doing there is I'm pushing myself to the limit. Okay, so let me turn all that crap off there. So obviously that's a very dodgy attempt at Crushing Day. The hardest, he's admitted it, it's like his peak performance on Surfing with the Alien solo from Crushing Day, obviously you all know. And he always says it's when you see him play it live, he has to sit down because, and he advised, never write a solo sitting down in a studio, because then when it comes to playing it live, it's a right drag. Now, what I want to talk about with it is because I know you're all a bit like, what are you doing? You're playing it far too fast. I know. It's one of the things that I've done recently to get my technique back is the Sean Lane idea of pushing the envelope, and John Petrucci says it, doesn't he? Where you kind of go to 11 and give it everything you've got. Right on the brink, not to the point, I always do it personally, not to the point that you can't play it at all. It's just on that edge where it's a struggle, okay? And then you kind of keep it there. It's a bit like resistance training. And I'll go into it a hell of a lot in my method, darling, later this year. Everything, because obviously you have to have the mechanics, the grounding of the mechanics first. But this is how I always do it. I do it a lot for fun as well. I love just pushing myself and getting right into it and giving it everything. And then you work on bringing it down, and you have time to tidy it up then as well. But interesting topic is the gaining technique and keeping technique. So if you look at, I don't know whether you guys have noticed this, but if you look at I look at a lot of like my heroes nowadays, and obviously because I'm very nostalgic, I'm stuck in the past. You take Paul Gilbert for instance, like I've got to admit, I'm the juvenile type who still just loves the Racer X albums and the I guess the early Mr. Big stuff, like the first Mr. Big album and the Lean Into It album, and that live in San Francisco was just my favourite thing. And obviously in his eyes now, he's moved on. He's a lot more mature and a lot more, he's very much into his blues and his phrasing. And so he doesn't really have the desire to keep up that level of technique. I mean, why would you? It's not applicable to the music he plays now. However, you'll notice when he goes out to play like the Mr. Big reunion thing, he can do it and he does revert back to it. He'll just probably have to put in some time to get that technique back. And whereas you can see other players, especially in the gypsy jazz community, guys who had monster technique and they just let it go. They just think, I don't need it. But it's one of those things that it's a drag to get, but it's easier to maintain than it is to build it, I believe. And even after, like I said, I had a 7-year gap, and I've managed to kind of pretty much claw back where I was. But even now, I'm looking to push forward and develop it, especially with my brother Rick. He and I, we really want to kind of push each other's boundaries, and get a little bit friendly, competitive. It's not all about shred, is it? But it's about attitude and having control over the instrument. Another thing that I do, I believe my biggest flaw right now is, you'll have noticed it in some of my performances, because I always do it just live in the room. I do get excited and I tend to rush, and I'm ahead of the beat a lot, and I speed, bit of speed, a bit of speed, mate. And that's not good. However, it's much easier to rein it in. And obviously, I used to be a professional studio player. You have to be able to play with to a click track, and the thing to rein it in is a lot easier than if you haven't got it in the tank, if you like, and you have to try and reach. Apologies, my camera cut out, so I had to just clear a bit of storage, and we're back onto it. So apologies for that. I need to prepare better next time. Anyway, as I was saying, this is it's something that I do think about all the time. The technique, level of technique, keeping it and sustaining it just takes time and effort, unfortunately. And I guess a lot of people, just don't want to do it. It's easier if you're professional and you just make it part of your life, really, because it's no different than an athlete. You need to keep that kind of level up. But then if you just think of something like a concert pianist, a violinist, anything in that kind of, in like a philharmonic capacity, they just have to practice. It's their job. Whereas we get quite entitled, don't we? We're like, I don't like playing scales, it's boring. It's like, yeah, but when it's your job and you have to perform at that level, you need to put the time in, unfortunately. However, there are ways to make it enjoyable. Like I said, I've managed to spend so much time, well, as much time as I can, back on the instrument and pushing to get at that level, in a like an amateur capacity right now, because it's not my main thing, but I am looking to change that, like I keep going on about. Anyway, so what I suggest is you need to do that kind of thing where you take a piece of music you can already perform and then do the thing, get the app, speed it up a bit and push yourself with it, something that you feel competent with. The biggest it's not a regret, it's just the worst thing you can do for progress is to get content, where you're just like, oh, I'm quite happy with where I am. No, man, never be happy. Be like me, be depressed, but always be miserable. Yeah. And keep forging forward. Remember, it's never enough. Never enough. That's how I feel about my musicianship. I'm not good enough, I can't do it, I gotta. But provided you can harness that and use it as fire to keep going, then it's you're laughing. Anyway, just quickly, that song, so Joe Satriani, again, because he's a musician, most of his music is beautifully melodic, but the technique going on in that solo is an absolute nightmare, especially the left hand, like those stretches. Obviously, I'd probably pick it, but I'm, again, to make an excuse, it's because I've got such a high action and heavy string. It's very hard for me to do any legato on this absolute bitch of an instrument. Anyway, that's my excuse. They're epic, but then the I love that phrase. Do you remember the thing I've shown it before? It's like in Surfing with the Alien, where you've got that. Got those two combinations. He does it exactly the same from a G minor point of view, but a huge stretch. Look at that. And he does the same thing in, do you remember in Summer Song? With the, you've got the solo. Oh, I can't even remember it, I apologise. I've played it somewhere before anyway, but then you've got it there. phrase, so he throws it in all the time. Got it in the... So I see that as like his signature phrase, if you like. And then again, one of the most kind of out of place things for him is a real, like a classical exercise, this ascending 16th groups of 4, one note at a time, all the way from G minor. And I find that the hardest. Well, it's really hard. It's just the crossover from. He probably does it like this. Probably slides up. I don't really. Again, when I used to try and figure stuff out, we didn't have the whole. You couldn't have visuals of him. But anyway, from that, it's the straight 16ths transitioning into the triplets and slowing down. Just shows total control of the right hand. So there. That's what I always go on about when I really get into the tuitional side of things, is the control of the hand. So rather than being it as a light switch on and off, where you're either picking or you're not, and having like a different technique for both things. You want that dimmer switch kind of thing. To it loads eventually. I know I keep saying that, but give me time, man. Anyway, what am I? Don't let me lose my train of thought here. Dream theatre. So this, like I say, this is how I do it. I really do. I just take loads of different things and push myself with it. It's harder with a solo like this, where you've just got endless licks and techniques and stuff in there. Much easier if you just pick the one technique and stick with it. However, I love the challenge of like a long performance, It's just how I roll. And it doesn't always work out perfect. Like, that wasn't the perfect performance, what I did, but it was close enough, wasn't it? Anyway, Joe Satriani, you have to listen to Crushing Day, the solo, his most badass technical solo. He's got everything in there. And I absolutely love that album, Surfing with the Alien. I know I'm stuck in the past, but I don't care. Anyway, I'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching.